If you've ever dreamed of experiencing the beauty of fall in New England, seeing all the brilliant colors, exploring historic landmarks, maybe even catching a Broadway show, then this next trip is for you. Thanks to Holiday Vacations, you can do all of that on a fully guided, stress-free tour that takes you from Boston to New York City with plenty of stops along the way. And joining me today in the studio to talk about it, legendary sportscaster John Popovich, and joining us virtually is Margot Stouffer, Destination Manager for Holiday Vacations. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you. It's great to be here back in the studio.
Well, Margot, let me start with you. This trip really sounds like the perfect way to experience fall in New England. What makes that time of year so special for travelers?
Oh my gosh, this time of year is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you picture New England with all of its colors and traveling through the countryside. You're going to see covered bridges, you're going to see streams, the small New England towns and its atmosphere, tasting maple syrup from one of the vendors that we stop at, the history of the places that you're going to. So lots of cool things to see and learn while you're out there.
Well, John, I know that you have traveled a lot over the years. What is it about this trip in particular that really stands out to you?
You know, what I like is the assortment of what the experiences and where you're going to be. You start with the big city, Boston. You end with the big city, New York. So you got that energy, the vibe, everything. And what you want to do is be able to be in those. But sandwiched in between, you take a nice long ride in the country. Go up the White Mountains. You're going to see fall as it just envelops and takes us, and then all kinds of different things along the way. What I like anytime I travel is not to just do one thing, is to be able to see a lot of different things. This trip does it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that along with all the beautiful foliage, I know it'd be absolutely gorgeous. And Margot, along those lines, I love that this isn't just a sightseeing trip. As John hinted, I mean, it's full of history, culture, and even a Broadway show. What are some of the highlights that travelers can look forward to?
Well, you mentioned the history. So one of my favorite things is the Boston Freedom Trail Tour. So you're going to be able to learn all about Boston and its history. You're going to be able to walk down the old streets, see Old North Church, Paul Revere's house, the Granary Cemetery, Salem, which is really a cool city because I'm just into that type of stuff. You know, the Salem witch trials, you get to learn about that. And then you go over to Great Barrington, you get to check out Norman Rockwell's museum and see all of his artwork that was featured in the Saturday Evening Post. And of course, New York City. I love New York City, the city that never sleeps, just so much energy there and history and culture and dining. You'll get a city tour and a harbor cruise. So much to see and do on this tour. It's absolutely fantastic.
Well, it all sounds amazing. And John, out of all these stops here, I mean, you got Boston, you have Salem, the White Mountains, even New York City. Is there anything in particular that you're really excited about on this trip?
Well, the first trip to Boston, I like history. So Boston, you know, is full of history and everything like that. The Freedom Trail, to see the Old North Church, Paul Revere, where he grew up, to the Faneuil Hall, Quincy Market, the John F. Kennedy Library. He was the young president when I was a kid. So we all revered him at that time, and to be able to go and see what made his life as it was. So there's a lot to this trip, but it starts off in that way. You mentioned there's so much history to this trip, and to me, that's one of the things that really grabbed me.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Margot, for people who might be hesitant to book a guided tour, what would you say to them, and what's the Holiday Advantage all about?
Oh, sure. The Holiday Advantage, everything is included, your airfare, your hotel, your attractions, and you're going to have 12 meals that are going to be included on this. To sign up, it's just a low, fully risk-free deposit of $200 per person, and that's refundable up until your final payment date, and then that'll hold your space. You'll have a Holiday Vacations tour director traveling with you from start to finish of the tour, and they'll give you interesting information about the area you're going to be traveling and making sure that you're having the time of your life.
Well, John, I know there might be some people who are hesitant about, traveling with a group, but what would you say to encourage them to take this trip and really make these memories?
Well, you and I have we've all taken our vacations. We've planned where to go, how to get there, where to stay, and that stuff. all of that stuff is done for you here. So I mean, and don't dismiss the fact that you make a lot of friends. We did Ireland 2 years ago with holiday vacations. We didn't know a soul to begin with. These are friends now we get together with on a regular basis. That we made friends. They're a lot like us, and some were retired, and we all had the same interests, but we came from different backgrounds and we shared a lot of different things. So that's one of the things. But again, one of the great parts is getting somewhere you haven't been. Maybe you've read about it in the history books, but you know something, you don't know anything till you go there. You feel it, you touch it, whatever. And to me, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds like such a great experience. And Margot, if someone is interested in joining this unforgettable journey through New England, how can they reserve their spot?
You can go on to our website, which is www.holidayvacations.com, and then just type in your keyword, which is WCPO. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and call our office at 888-557-1020 and speak to one of our tour consultants, and they'll get you signed up. And you can also go on our website and watch a travel show and get more information, and then you'll get a $100 travel credit that you can put towards this trip.
Well, it sounds like a great trip. John, Margot, thanks to both of you for being with us today. I think I'm ready to book my trip.
You're welcome to come along.